So when did you start emphasizing, you're like, all right, Silicon Valley, this is the brand? When did you realize Silicon Valley was what needed to be pushed?
For me, Silicon Valley, I recognized that brand early 2000s. I was already in the Bay, and
Were they already saying it that early on?
yeah, oh, they've been saying it for a long time, since
Yeah.
probably the 80s, 90s,
Wow.
yeah, 80s, Silicon Valley. I remember because there used to be a TV show called Knight Rider.
Is you talking about Knight Rider,
Knight Rider,
right?
yeah.
They talked about it?
The first episode was about Silicon Valley.
What?
Yeah.
I did not know that. That's a cool fact. Uber facts.
Yeah, no, it's a true fact. The first case was of Silicon Valley theft.
Wow.
And Knight Rider was.
They were trying to find who stole the chips or
Yeah,
what?
they did. It was
They
about
stole
who
the
stole the chips.
Makes sense. They stole all the
Who stole the
microchips.
Yep. And then somebody got murdered, and the first case. Yeah. So Knight Rider was
Classic. That's classic. Silicon Valley, it's interesting that you say that because I didn't realize that people were already talking about it then. Because I know early on, like mid 2000s, late 2010s, I heard the name get brought up. Obviously, I acknowledged Steve Jobs and all the.
It became
Apple.
cool.
It was starting to become cool.
Yeah.
I feel like it was known.
Right.
I wouldn't say it was cool.
Right.
It was known. Maybe it was cool to like the tech folks, engineers, but for people locally, right? The culture, like a lot of people didn't really like grasp the name. I mean, this is just my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like more recently, like within this decade, now it's like Silicon Valley this,
Yeah,
Silicon
well,
Valley that.
Everybody, I always tell people there's other places they try to get silicon. They try to use silicon as their like front. Like for example, in Texas, they try to I don't know which term they use as far as the silicon, but then there's in the East Coast there's Silicon Beach. There's up in Utah or in those areas Silicon Slopes, and it's like no, there's only one Silicon Valley. There's only one Silicon Valley, and that's here.
Yeah.
There is no other Silicon, whatever you want to call it. It's like there's no other Hollywood. There's only one Hollywood, and that's in Southern California.
Yeah.
That's it. There's only one place that's a mecca for music, Southern California. The fitness world has this mecca too. It's Southern California. I mean, there's a lot of things that are their birthplaces, and Silicon Valley, believe it or not, has a lot of great things that it's a birth. It has
A lot.
MMA
History.
MMA is it's all big. All their champions have come out of San Jose, Silicon Valley, AKA.
Yeah. Nate Diaz and.
Yeah, I mean,
Khabib.
the Bay Area has bred a lot of the world champions that are even currently now.
Yeah.
So then you think of again all the big companies. They're all here. Why? Because this is where all the brain power is at.
Yeah.
You have all the all the people come here with a mindset of this is where the thinkers are. So because they come with that mindset, they set their own standard up, and that's what they're doing. So you if you're in an environment where there's a higher standard, then you want to become of that high standard.
Yeah.
You want to continue to perpetuate that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I think, and that's why this, to me, Silicon Valley is the mecca of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship because, it's where else do you go?
Yeah. Some might argue, was it New York, right? But that's more of like a capital finance, right? More Wall Street.
Yeah, they're known for financing, banking, they're known for a lot of great things, and their innovations were, a lot of music was founded up, hip hop.
Yeah.
Was born there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things, a lot of trends, fashion.
Yeah.
Even though that L.A. and New York compete.
Yeah.
And then you have Milan in Italy that competes. So there's always going to be certain meccas for certain industries. And to me, Silicon Valley, it's just. I ended up here. I don't want to say by accident because I believe that things happen for a reason.
I agree. Like that.
But this is where I made I planted my roots. I decided that when I ended up going to San Jose State, I said, you know what, San Jose is going to be my home.
Yeah.
It's where I'm going to make my fortune, and build my wealth, and make a global impact.
And the rest is history.
The rest.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you one quick question before I get into my introduction, because I don't know if you know, we're already live at this point.
Yeah, no,
So,
we're good. I'm ready.
The quick question I want to ask you on what you just said is like, when did you identify that this was the Mecca for entrepreneurs? At what point in time did you recognize that? And were you already in that lane of entrepreneurship when you noticed?
When I I was an entrepreneur since I was a kid, 15 years old. Started my first business in Los Angeles, washing cars around the neighborhood. And I did that out of necessity because my mother, I grew up with a single mom. I had a younger sister.
Yeah.
And my mom couldn't, growing up, kids could be brutal sometimes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So if you're not wearing the cool shoes or the cool clothes.
They clowning you.
Yeah,
you.
so,
yeah,
I was wearing Payless shoes while fools were wearing, Jordans and all, even Nikes, even basic Nikes, everything, yeah. So for me, it was out of necessity to make it through, man, to navigate through those waters as a young kid. Mm-hmm. And it just gave me that rocket fuel. It's like, all right, so we gotta find out the hustle on us.
Yeah.
And so I started to do that, and then I got exposed to the nightlife. Music was a big part of my life. I always loved music as a kid.
Yeah.
So I remember my first time going to a teen nightclub. I fell in love with it. I was like, oh man, this is all me right here. This is the mirror ball, the lights, the girls walking in, and then my mind having the confidence to walk in and not be afraid to say hello or like, hey, you want to dance? Being an
outgoing guy, know how to talk to people.
Right.
Yeah.
I was not shy, man. I knew what I wanted. So I found myself being a social creature.
Yeah.
Like hyper social. Just like you cannot not have a conversation with me. I'd start
extrovert.
Yeah, and then I got into promotions. I got into street promoting. I became part of a street team for a couple of nightclubs in LA, and that's really how I got into the business. Started passing out flyers, parking lots, bombing cars with flyers.
Yeah.
There was no social media back then.
Old school guerrilla marketing.
Real
marketing.
Yeah, real marketing.
Real
It's like I used to call it hand-to-hand combat. It was.
That's good time.
It was. I had to use those kind of terms. Like guerrilla marketing. We're gonna carpet bomb. We're gonna slam. I mean, we just use such big words. Because
intentional.
Exactly. We had to make it bigger than what we had to make it sexier than what it really was. Because really, you're just handing out flyers, but we're like, no, we're slamming. And then, we would go to malls. Again, those were social hubs. We'd go to the malls, and that's where we did a lot of our interacting with people.
Those are the busiest places.
We'd go to the cool stores where people were buying the cool clothes, and then we'd become friends, and everyone knew that everyone had to help each other out. If kids that were going to clubs know where to go get the cool clothes, and then they know that they can. That's where they'll find out about the cool parties.
Yeah.
So it was
a unique time period, right? When everything was organic.
Yeah.
You had that flyer, and that flyer could touch 10 people or just one person, but that was how you got your leads and stuff.
Yeah, that was. Oh man, we made a mess. I mean, but it was. Each party we have to order 10,000 flyers just to get just to get some people there.
That's crazy.
And imagine with 10,000 flyers, out of how many of those, we really turned fruition into a business. So again, you see it enough times that it just then became like you wondering like, oh man, maybe we should go hit up this party.
Yeah.
So they might not remember you. They might not remember or go to your party the first time, but they keep seeing it.
They'll acknowledge what's going on.
Yeah, they keep seeing the frequency. Yeah. They're like, eventually you're going to capture them as a.
At that point, that's branding now.
That's
now
right.
We're talking about branding.
That's right.
And there's a lot of angles that we can go into this. And I think since we're actually in the heart of Silicon Valley, we could actually give our valid perspectives on how the business really started and how things grew. But to get to the question, because I don't think you answered my question yet, at what point did you identify that Silicon Valley was going to be what it was going to be through your journey that you just explained?
Once you start living in Silicon Valley and you start living it, you'll then feel it and understand what the value and what is Silicon Valley. I truly, to this day, I continue to identify and acknowledge what Silicon Valley is. But I think when it really clicked was in early 2000s.
Yeah.
When the .com was huge. .com is what really put Silicon Valley on the map.
Yeah.
Like globally.
Yeah.
Because then everybody
started learning about the internet.
Yeah, started learning about the internet, and the .coms were, a majority of them were based out of Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And then when the bust happened in 2000, that really, bad news travels fast, so
Yeah.
everything,
kind of slowed down a little bit.
Well, the Silicon Valley got on the map from growing so high, and all these, billions of dollars that were being invested back then blew up, and then it was able to resurrect itself slowly but surely through technology, and a lot of the things that were done in 2000 that were too ahead of their time are now standard, like Amazon delivering groceries. There was a company called Webvan in 2000 that was doing that.
Wow.
Webvan, which is cheesy, but you think about the concept of what they were doing, is basically delivering groceries to your house.
Wow, that's crazy. That's real. That's real. Because I remember there was another company that did what Uber did, and they were just ahead of their time. Like, it didn't blow up.
Yeah.
And that's so crazy. That's so true. And I think even Gary Vee said too, where he was talking about like the idea of buying something online and it getting sent to my house and then me paying for it online, it was so foreign, right?
Yeah. I don't even remember the last time I've gone to the store to go buy
but
groceries.
Now it's like everything is just at your dispense through your phone.
Yeah.
What transition, right?
Yeah.
So that means the mentality transitioned as well.
So for me, really identifying Silicon Valley was early 2000s, and then really embracing Silicon Valley for me, where I really was paying attention that nobody was branding Silicon Valley.
I agree. That's very true.
And utilizing that.
Yeah.
I realized that in the early 2000s too, and then I started registering a lot of domains with the word Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
And again, so for me, Silicon Valley is a part of me, a part of my brand, a part of anything that I do. I want to say that I started in Silicon Valley, because Silicon Valley is a global destination.
Yeah.
It's known worldwide. I mean, you got talents, and I don't care where they live at. They all touch Silicon Valley.
Touched at one point.
Yeah. Elon Musk touched San Jose, Silicon Valley. Gary Vee has touched. Steve Jobs. Bill Gates. All the big titans in the technology have all been here.
Yeah.
Period. No question asked.
That's factual.
And if they're not from here, they came here.
Yeah. Or done
Mark
business
Zuckerberg was from the East Coast.
Yeah.
What did he do? He planted himself here in Palo Alto. The guys from Google, they're not from here, but they planted themselves here. So no matter what, anywhere in the world that you're at, Silicon Valley attracts those global minds to headquarter themselves. So what an honor and a blessing to say that, I'm born here in the States. I always tell people too, by the way, even though I say I'm raised in Los Angeles, I was actually born in San Francisco, General Hospital. And then at 3 years old, I moved to Los Angeles with my mom and my sister. And I grew up as a child in Los Angeles. And then to come back to the Bay Area, in my late
17,
teens,
18,
17, and then to become an adult. So I tell people, born in San Francisco, raised in Los Angeles, and educated in Silicon Valley, I got the best of all worlds all in one. So I got, world-class, born in a world-class city, raised in a world-class city where I had to learn my hustle, and now I'm educated in a world-class city where if you put everything together, you just have to refine yourself and then continue to, and use that as your story. I grew up in the streets, I grew up in the hood, but that's not my story. My story is that I grew up in the hood, in the streets, and I use that knowledge and that hustle as my rocket fuel to catapult me to where I'm at today. I don't use that as my poor me, or I don't. No, it's good that happened to me. Because good, that happened to me. That allowed me to catapult myself forward, and be able to share with others that have shared similar struggles. That hey, if I could do it, shit, you could do it too.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said earlier, everything happens for a reason.
That's right.
So that gave you that purpose.
Yeah, I feel that being here in Silicon Valley now, my energy, my goals, my vision is so big. It's so like I want to do big things.
Scale.
Yeah, man. I even got pushed the other day by a good friend of mine, Miles Kovac, founder of Dub Magazine. He called me, and it was an honor that he called me, talking about wanting to become a partner in Punch King Fitness.
Yeah.
Because we just opened up our third store in New Jersey. Out of all places, we're coast to coast now.
Yeah.
And I started sharing the ideas, and he's like, Mauricio, you got to think bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great, I love it. I can think bigger with another bigger person, with another big thinker.
Yeah.
I can only think as big as my surroundings.
Yeah.
We had that conversation where, you know,
who
it's
you surround yourself by. Right?
Yeah, association. It's who you surround yourself with. It's what you're going to become. So for me, it's if I could surround myself around other big thinkers.
Yeah.
Well, then heck, I'm not limiting myself by myself.
Yeah.
I'm allowing myself to again expand that mind.
That's beautiful, man. Really well said. I want to get an opportunity to introduce the show because I think
Yeah.
we did a great icebreaker right there. We got a lot of gems. But yeah, for the audience that are tuning in, I'm probably going to put this in the beginning, but it ain't exclusive. If it ain't an EMLN exclusive, it's your boy BQ. We're in the heart of Silicon Valley right here on Bassett Street in the executive suites, right in the downtown San Jose area. As you guys have heard, we were emphasizing on Silicon Valley, home of half of the world's billionaires and the mecca of entrepreneurship.
Right.
I'm accompanied by a very special guest who I just met a few weeks ago, but have already had an opportunity to really build a relationship with and get to learn and be a student and soak up game. Mauricio Mejia, the one and only, is here with us today. This individual is the owner and founder of Punch King Fitness. Has had a long entrepreneurship record of being in the entertainment space in downtown San Jose, from the owner of the Vault.
Yeah.
And also a bunch of other stuff that I'm probably not remembering right now, but I'd love for you to kind of give you a, a kind of concise introduction for the ones that don't know who you are.
Yeah, no.
And just like kind of how you, kind of got into this area and stuff.
Yeah, no, well, thank you. It's it's an honor to actually be here with you and
Yeah.
share our facility and our space.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
that's really
Awesome
what it is. It's
Yeah.
it's really a place that we can share with others and inspire others. I've been an entrepreneur since I was born, probably, and that spirit is very strong in me. And for me, it's I'm just really honored to be here and to share my story again with you and your audience, because I think it's important. I think it's important that we educate our next generation and continue to educate our generations that are coming up, because the schools don't teach what we need to learn. We've seen it; it's been proven. As technology grows, you start to see that there's many ways that we can all learn.
Yeah.
So again, a little bit about me. I was born in San Francisco, raised in Los Angeles, and educated here in Silicon Valley. Been a true entrepreneur since I was 15 years old. And when I say that, I mean that when I say true entrepreneur, I never had a job other than probably once in my life. I've from 15 now to where I'm at today at 46. I have created many companies, many jobs, put many people to work, and created many hundreds of millions, if not billion already. That if I can count, I probably already have created. I'm probably already in the $1 billion generation of building $1 billion companies, and I'm not stopping there. I want to continue to grow and continue to make an impact on people's lives. And being here in Silicon Valley, it's the greatest place. It might not be the sexiest place, but it's definitely the wealthiest place.
Definitely the wealthiest, and usually wealthy is sexy though. So definitely.
So definitely, and some of the things that we do are not the sexiest things or the funnest things, but they create wealth, and they're what's going to give us what we need in order to get through in life. You can always have fun and live your dreams, but you have to have a foundation in order to be able to do that. And whether you're in tech or real estate or an artist or an athlete, you have to have a foundation because. And I've been there. When you get to the top or to a certain level in life, and you're full of abundance and wealth, if you don't know how to manage it, you will lose it.
Yeah.
And when you lose it, that's where the learning lessons become.
Yeah.
So that's where they learn. They start to happen. You start to really learn. Like, man. So.
Yeah, and I like how you touched on that because I think it's a good pivot. When it comes to like people in the community, right? A lot of people have said like they don't have OGs, right? They don't go to people because sometimes the OGs hold out on the information and not give opportunity to the younger generation. So right here, we're already going against the grain on this conversation because you're sharing your knowledge, right? But my thing is, at what point do you feel that? Sorry, I got to make sure that I'm clear. This is Mentor Monday, by the way.
Yeah.
For the ones that don't know, this is a Mentor Monday segment. So I want to approach it as a student, but I also
Yeah.
want to give you an opportunity to kind of just give your input and opinion on certain scenarios,
Yeah.
meaning like real time, right? Right now, what's going on? We're going into the holiday season.
Yep.
Some people are planning their 2023, or some people are still figuring out how they're going to finish off 2022. So I guess my question to you is like, what was one of the biggest mistakes that you made throughout your journey in this last, like I would say, because we already got past the .com, we're going into 2010. I would say like from 2010 to 2020, this decade, like what would you say was one of your biggest mistakes, and like what did you do to kind of approach it and change the circumstance?
Well, for me, 2010 was interestingly enough a pivotal point in my life, coming out of the not only the .com bust from 2000s, right? Let's fast forward 10 years later. We had the next economic crisis, which started in 2008, which was the housing crisis and the stock market crisis.
Yeah.
So 2008 rolled over. That it doesn't just happen one day and then go away the next day. So it rolled over, and I had reached the pinnacle in my life in 2007. I mean, I was cleaning house. I mean, I was from Ferrari to living in a beautiful loft and having all the life of excess. I believe that 2010 was a reset for me, and because in 2008, 9, and 10. I lost everything, literally from making millions and being on the top of the world, having the baddest nightclub. I took the title of, Godfather of nightlife. I was taking all the trophies, cleaning house. I was untouchable. And what I felt is that I thought my biggest mistake was that I thought it was forever.
Yeah.
And anyone out there, everyone that's out there that's watching, nothing is forever, period. Nothing. So you have to be prepared for that day that comes when you open up one day, you literally wake up one day and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah, the shift.
What just happened, period, yeah.
Yeah.
And we saw that just recently with what happened with the pandemic in 2020. Everyone going in, 2019 was the year, I mean, everything was booming. Life, I mean, I hit my milestone at 2019. I hit $100 million. In 2020, my goal was to be in a $1 billion company, billionaire in the Billionaires Club, and everything was teed up.
Yeah.
Life was just ready to go. When you can see it, touch it, feel it, acknowledge it, and be around it, it's real.
Yeah.
And then when it's gone, you go into a vacuum. It's like a vacuum effect. You're like, all you can feel is like that, like you have this weird pit in your stomach, and you're just wondering, when does it stop?
Yeah.
The difference here was that I went through an economic downfall in 2008, 8, 9, and 10. That I've had some version of an experience of what it feels to fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when 2020 happened, I quickly, right away, literally in March when they did the the shutdown of the world.
Yeah, the official shutdown.
The first words that came out of me, because I could see it, experience kicks in. I saw oh shit, this is this is a global economic reset.
Yeah.
And the truth will come out, not now and eventually
Yeah.
in the more years ahead,
Yeah.
what truly happened here. But there was things that had to happen in order to get to where we're going to these next,
The future.
to the future.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's
that
the
you brought
truth.
that up. No,
It's
I don't disagree with you because I really believe history repeats itself. And I think we
1
said
million
that
percent.
before. There was a lot of versions of like what the higher ups will say, right? Will do to make the dramatic change they're trying to incorporate.
We have to. There has to be a global reset with and you need a massive distraction
Yeah.
in order to distract focus.
Yeah.
Because the mind we are very powerful people, without getting into any crazy.
Yeah.
But we have a very powerful mind, and what distracts, what takes our focus off of things is distractions.
Yeah.
And when we distract ourselves, we lose our focus, and then we're not honed into what we need to. It's like they say, I don't know the phrase, and I might mess it up, but what the mind think is, we do.
Yeah.
What we focus, we do.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's powerful.
It's very true.
So, for going back to what I did in the last 10 years, is I learned a lot from those mistakes. I learned that, and I got my big break in 2014. So 4 years after from 2010, I launched the company with a partnership, and what I learned from that experience was that even with your friends or people that you trust, you always have to make sure that you have things documented properly, so that you don't have that we thought conversation in the future.
Yeah.
Or you have a falling out, or where there's a misunderstanding and you have nothing to go back to bring you back in center.
Yeah.
Because when you become successful and you start dealing with a lot of money,
Yeah.
money makes people weird.
Yeah. It's a good way to say it. Yeah.
And some people that have never had money, really you'll get to see what magnifies out of that. And so for me, I've been blessed. I can never say that I've ever failed in generating successful businesses. Some businesses take longer than others, and some just blow up like man, out of the ballpark.
What? 2 questions. What was the longest successful route, like track record of a business being built, and then what was the most shortest based on the businesses that you've been?
Well, the longest and successful for me was when I was in the nightlife. As far as longevity and passion, and after I retired from nightlife and being in the nightclub business and concert business for many years, that was great. But what I did from 2014 to 2019 in those 5 years, you cannot generate the kind of revenue that I did in a different world. I pivoted my life. I got into the staffing world and providing labor for big companies. But I used my street tactics. I used my marketing tactics, my branding tactics. And I took a company that from zero to $100 million. And on top of that, other companies that were running parallel. So for me, there's two different ways to look at it. In my young age, again, I became a millionaire at 25 years old. That was my first million at 25. But I spent it.
That was gonna be my next question. Like, how long did it take?
As fast as I made it, I was spending it. I mean, I was sold.
What was your first big purchase?
My home, my loft.
Smart.
Yeah, my home
Some
was
might say car
immediately. No. Well,
smart.
actually, it was my home, and then my second purchase was at the time the Humvees, the new Hummers that came out.
Oh yeah, that was big at
So
the time.
I bought the Humvee truck, not the SUV. I thought that was a cheesy truck, but the truck was dope. So I bought me a all black on black, beautiful. It had 8 miles on it. It was funny because 8 is my lucky number, so I was like, this is my truck. And I actually bought it Christmas Eve in 2004. I'll never forget that. It was and that was my gift to me. And man, it was 2004. It was a 2005, but I bought it in 2004 SUT Hummer truck. And so at 28, 28, I was even larger, man. I was, you know, man, I was just, that's when we got the Ferrari. I got the Ferrari 360 Spider. I mean, again, it wasn't that I bought it cash because I can afford it.
Yeah.
I just over leveraged myself thinking because I was making all this cash flow.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is forever.
Yeah.
Forever and ever.
And then the reset.
And then,
Eventually it was reset.
Yeah, then 2008 came and it was another economic reset.
Yeah.
You
So a quick question on the $1 million, because it's curious. Because I know there's a lot of people that my age, I'm 28, but there's people that are younger than me that are knee deep into the entrepreneurship. Maybe they've experienced a level of success early on, but maybe that $1 million, you know, there's a thing called inflation, right? $1 million at your time versus $1 million now might not go such a long way, especially living in Silicon Valley where the richest houses and properties are literally all on the road, on these areas of San Jose. So I guess what was the thing you would tell yourself, like at that time? Like, what wouldn't you have done with that million that you did?
So I wouldn't have spent it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have spent it at all.
No, it's not about spending. It's about being smart with your money. So every penny that was coming in, I was spending, and I was not preparing for that day that might come because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I only knew success, win, and then greed. And that's all I knew was just winning. And when life kicked in and reality sunk in, had I been listening to some of my mentors, I probably would have weathered the storm. There's a lot of people that weathered that storm.
Yeah.
The people that didn't weather the storms are the people that were just spending all the money. You know, the people that are blinging out, living the life, you know, of excess again.
Yeah.
And for me, you know, I've never been into labels, so thank God. I keep my dress minimal. I do like quality stuff, but I'm not that guy that goes and spends $1,000 on a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
I have spent, I have spent on some nice boots and stuff, but I'm not that guy that needs the Gucci or the Versace or I'm not into that. Simple.
Yeah.
Keep it minimal.
Yeah.
But quality.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I have but I've always wanted to live well at a young age, not anymore.
Yeah.
I wanted to have the better things in life and show it off. That's the other part, is that when you live to show off, that's when you really are not living for a bigger purpose in life.
Ooh, that was a gem right there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I agree with you, because a lot of people just do it. Because we have a thing called social media, right? We got Instagram, Facebook. So a lot of people like to play with the perception of success.
Yeah.
They're living their highlight reel, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to real life, they're not showing like, oh, I'm donating, I'm bringing cans to get extra $50. Or I'm short on gas.
Yeah.
Or like, it's just stuff like that. Well, obviously, who wants to document those things, right?
Right.
Makes them feel bad.
No, you want the highlights.
You want the highlights, right? So that's really I appreciate you expressing that, because some people won't admit to their failures.
Oh yeah, no.
Or they won't share their L's. But I feel like these things are important to talk about, because a lot of people get value. Maybe like someone that's literally about to take that step in that wrong direction and might have just heard what you just said to kind of get a better sense of what to do next.
And unfortunately, people will do some real stupid shit as well. I mean, because they're trying to show off.
Yeah.
They go to the point that even where you can't afford, you buy something you can't afford, or you even go the even cheaper way, where you go buy something that's not even real.
Yeah.
What does that say about who you are?
Yeah. You're lost.
I mean, that's you're lost. You're lost in the sauce, man. You're you're thinking like, you're if you can't even afford it, why even attempt it?
Yeah.
And then if you can't afford it, why would you fake it?
Yeah. What are you trying to do? What's the goal at that point?
What? Yeah, that says a lot. And thank God, I've never been that character. I mean, I've done other things, I call it smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
But that one thing, it would not sit well in my soul.
Yeah.
To wear something that's not real. I'd rather not have it.
Yeah.
So I remember a true story. One time, a friend of mine, successful business guy, back in the day, there was the Gucci watch, and it was a G.
Okay.
And it was pretty dope, and it was not that expensive, but it was an
Yeah.
expensive watch.
Yeah.
And I remember he came to me and he said, "Hey, I have this gift for you," and and I opened it up. I was like, at first when it's brand new, it looks like legit.
Yeah.
But as I lifted it, I felt it. You can tell quality from not quality.
Yeah.
When in the early 2000s in my career, I bought, as a reward to myself of one of my events, I bought myself my first Rolex.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can tell quality.
Yeah.
Real from what's, and I didn't want to offend. I know that the intent was good.
Yeah.
But it was something that I just put away.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a nice gesture.
Yeah. No, nice gesture. And again, I wasn't impressed by it.
Yeah.
But I was appreciative.
Do you think it was an attempt to like win you as a friend?
Yeah.
Or was it just like, I just want to give you a gift? I didn't know it was fake though.
No. 100%. It was trying to win me as a, as if I wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
Which questions, well, are you questioning my intelligence?
Yeah.
And what is your true intention?
Yeah.
To this day, we're not friends, so that's probably what it was. It was.
Yeah.
That's what it. It's the long game. That's probably what it turned out to be.
Yeah.
But again, I don't look at it anything other than an experience in my life.
Yeah.
Just like anything that happens, everything that has happened in the past, it's an experience. Anything moving forward, that I can navigate or I don't want to say control, but know the better directions that I want to go in my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to manage my time. And I think you'll learn that as you get older and then you have more life experiences.
Yeah.
The harder you fail, the quicker and faster you're going to learn.
Yeah.
And that's really what I've learned. I've learned through the failures or through the experiences of what happens in life that have given me the guidance to where I'm at today.
Is there any failures that you look at? Because obviously, in my opinion, I think every L is a lesson, right? Is there any failures you looked at and like, I didn't really need to go through that?
Right.
Like, did you ever experience something like that where you're like, I already knew that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's well, not as drastic. I think more in my personal life.
Yeah.
In my business life, I've become a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
I tell people in business, I have 10 targets, 10 bullets, and I'm going to ping all of them down.
Yeah.
And if I miss one, then I become a target. So when it comes to that, it's like practice, right? Business is practice. In my personal life, I've made some mistakes where I know better, but I decided not to listen to my gut or the red flags that I've experienced.
Yeah.
And I've gotten myself into some pickles in my life that thank God I have the means to get out of it.
Yeah.
Or to navigate out of those waters, but have they had a toll on me, on my person, on who I am? Absolutely. Yeah, but again, I've been able to, through time, I'm hoping that I don't repeat those mistakes in my life. And those are personal. Those are, those are personal.
Yeah. And in all fairness, I mean, when it comes to entrepreneurship, I like to reference it as a sport because it's like such a tough thing, right? You're going up and down. You're in the football game, you're training early in the morning, you're training late at night, you're watching film, you're prepping for the opponent. Like you're doing so many things constantly to prepare the next thing, right? So that's why I always like to relate it back to sports with business.
Yeah.
I guess my next question is like,
entrepreneurship is a full contact sport.
It's a full contact sport.
Full contact.
Yeah,
they don't
care about PTSD and
no.
CTE.
It's full,
They're like head-on collision.
It's full on.
Figure of speech, by the way.
Full contact sport. It requires your mind. It requires your body. It requires your entire being to be involved. It requires a stomach made of steel to deal with the craziness that it just requires it requires a stomach of steel.
Yeah.
You have to be like off the charts, strong, mentally, physically, and physically doesn't mean you have to be buffed and muscular.
Yeah.
Physically means that your body has to be able to endure.
Yeah.
The long game, because entrepreneurship is not about the short game. There are short wins.
Yeah.
But you're playing for the long game.
Yeah.
Everything that we do as entrepreneurs is the long game. It's the end result, the exit strategy. It takes time.
Yeah.
In anything that we do. So I tell people that have jobs, don't quit your job yet.
Yeah.
My best advice to people that have jobs is use that job as your runway to build your runway, to sustain yourself. And I've given you my runway story.
Yeah.
I always tell people I'm a 747, and in this 747 I need a long runway.
Yeah.
So I have to, in order to do that, I have to continue to build massive amounts of business and volume so that I can get this plane off the ground. People that have jobs, they say, I want to become an entrepreneur. Everyone wants to be an entrepreneur or do something that's sexy until they know what the hard work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Athletes are a perfect example. You can't just be an athlete just to be an athlete. Like, oh, hey, I want to be an athlete today.
Yeah.
You got to work your ass off.
Yeah.
And you got to do shit that nobody else will do in order to get there, to be a star.
Yeah.
It's the same way in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
The guys that are at the top is because they did anything and everything to get to the top. Period. That's just the way it is. It's no shortcuts.
Yeah, no shortcuts.
Mark Zuckerberg did not get to where he's at because he did shortcuts. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, all these billionaires, trillionaires, big thinkers didn't get to where they're at by cutting shortcuts. They put the time, the energy, their ass on the line, their lives. Steve Jobs, to this day, I believe that he got sick because he was a workaholic.
Yeah.
Stress kills us, kills people.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Period. So we work ourselves to death.
Yeah, we
Some
do.
people might, that's not fun. Well, then that's not for you.
Yeah.
Stay with what you're doing. Because not everyone can be an entrepreneur either.
Yeah.
I, for myself, I could not be an employee. Why? Because I don't want to be told what to do.
Yeah.
And not that I want to tell people what to do, but I want to lead.
Yeah.
And there's a difference between telling somebody and leading somebody. So I want to lead others. I want to make an impact in people's lives. And that's what a lot of these big people, CEOs and things that I've done in their lives, they've made an impact on others because they've created things that are useful to our daily lives. And the guy that's recycling trash that's trash isn't sexy.
Yeah.
But it's a global impact, and he's made those companies have made billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Food consumption.
Yeah.
The basics.
Yeah.
Shoes. Everyone needs shoes, whether it's a cheap shoe or an expensive shoe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many things that are created by people that are thinkers.
Yeah. No, I mean, what I was taught with entrepreneurship is that you're solving a problem.
Yeah.
Like you're always solving a problem. That's how you build a business, right? Your business is solving a problem. So
We're pivoting.
Yeah. Maybe that problem isn't as sexy, right? Like
Right.
you said. My mentor really beat this on me because I always talk about passion and shit. He's like, bro, passion. I'm sorry, he doesn't agree with me, right? With passion, he's like, people that made coal, they didn't did it because they love it. They did it because it made money.
That's right.
So it's like stuff like that. So
and the people that actually mined the coal did it out of necessity or because they didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So it's a mindset. At the end of the day, where we're at, what we do, who we're around, is all about a mindset. You have to, if you want to do big things, you have to have a strong mindset with a big thinking. Steve Harvey says it best. You want to kill a big dream? Tell your big dreams to a small-minded thinker.
Wow.
I was like, to me, that Steve Harvey made an impact in my life when I heard that because it's true.
Yeah.
You don't go tell a big dream to a small-minded person.
Yeah, that's easy.
It's like you might as well just talk to the wall.
Yeah.
You might as well just talk to the wall.
That's funny. It's funny you mentioned Steve Harvey because he was featured on EYL, which is a business podcast I listen to.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he used to work for the network and now he runs his own version of it and he's expanded to Africa and his whole mentality is like scaling and being the network and not being an employee of the network.
Yeah, Steve Harvey didn't get to where he's at because he was telling his big ideas to small thinkers. I mean, he got to where he got to because he shared big ideas with big thinkers that believed in him and took him to the next level. And it's similar to what we're doing. I want to share big things, big ideas with you and your organization and the people that you're influencing, the next generations, and embracing them because you got the next generation is the future.
Yeah.
You know, so we have to continuously give back and pay it forward.
Yeah.
You know, so again, I believe that what you and your organization are doing and your shows, and you're making a bigger impact. You're showing the community that, hey, life can take twists and turns, and it's going to.
Yeah, it will.
At all times.
Yeah.
And even when you're successful people have successful problems.
Yeah, no, I always say it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, they're just different. You just manage them different because you have different.
Yeah, different situations.
Different situations. So, but yeah, that's yeah.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I guess I want to share with you. I was telling you about, because we were talking about something. I'm gonna say what it was, what we talked about. Right, we're talking about future projects, but. There was an artist that came to mind that we were discussing. This artist is based out of Vallejo, California. His name is LaRussell. I told you about him.
Yeah.
And this guy is a super. So this kind of resonates with Silicon Valley, because Silicon Valley is known for disrupting the space, right? From Uber to banks to food to sports, like everything is disrupted, even music. This guy is truly 100% independent and is the top of the game right now. Everyone in the industry knows about him, but he's not on Billboard. He's not on this. He's not on that. But he's making full profit. He's literally like showing people, hey, I'm making all this money. I'm doing it on my own. Yeah. And you guys are working, slaving yourselves for labels, getting a loan and having to pay it back, because that's how they really do it. They don't say it's like you're signing yourself. You're not signing a deal. You're signing a loan. That's what it is. But one of the things he said, and I would love your opinion on it, is that how you do business is a reflection of you as a person.
Yeah.
What is your opinion on that quote? And like, do you think that's real, or do you feel like it's circumstantial?
1,000,000%. A person with integrity will do business with integrity.
Yeah.
A person that's going to hustle you or to try to hurt you.
Yeah.
And I don't mean physically hurt you, but hurt you financially, or that comes with the intentions of like, I'm gonna come up on you. That's a short-lived dream. That's a short-lived business model, because people that come up with that mindset don't know any better.
Yeah.
So you can't blame them.
Yeah.
But you just hope that that person eventually will surround themselves with better thinking people.
Yeah, with values.
With values.
Yeah.
Because, and I shared this with you in a past conversation, people may not like me as a business person, but it's because they were not ready to do business with me and sit at the table and understand the dynamics of whatever business we were trying to do. And some people may feel that they got shorted. Well, that's a deal that you cut, not me.
Yeah.
I just agreed to it. And maybe I threw out and you said, yeah.
Yeah.
It business goes, it's a two-way.
Yeah.
It's two ways.
For sure.
It's a contact sport too.
Yeah.
So, and if you disagree, then why'd you agree?
Yeah.
So, I've learned my business through mentors.
Yeah.
Now, through the mentors that I've also been taught values. In the entertainment business, it was interesting. You don't steal from your partners. You don't sleep with your partner's wife.
No. Oh yeah.
And in all businesses, right? In all.
Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan.
And you take care of your business responsibilities. And then in my next mentor realm, in real estate business, real estate development. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in development. The business partner taught me, do good business with good people where nobody gets hurt.
Yeah.
Again, principles, morals, integrity, moral boundaries.
Yeah.
I can't go into a business dealing feeling that your gut can tell you.
Yeah.
Your gut will, your sixth sense will tell you whether this is a good deal or not. And if you go against the grain knowingly, eventually the bad business is gonna come out. So I believe in that 100%. Yeah.
And I appreciate that you even listed your core values. A lot of people can't even name their values. So you got your values listed, and damn, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I know that there's a lot of young people that get into the business world, and I'm guilty of it. Like I've done things that maybe another person thought I might have fucked them over in a certain way. And I never had the intent. Like I'm not here to bring harm to anyone or disrupt anyone. If anything, a lot of the times things just naturally don't work, or it doesn't work in the best interest of both parties.
Key word that you said was intent.
Yeah.
And that's something that is huge. You have to have the intent to want to fuck somebody over.
Yeah, and that's evil at that point.
That when you have that intent,
yeah,
you're right. It's you're going into something with malice intention.
Yeah.
Malice means to hurt. Intention is to do. Yeah, if I'm going to do that, then I that's where I really don't see that in my. I don't even need it at my table.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't need that. I don't need that energy.
Yeah, protect the energy. We're on the same frequency.
Yeah.
That's very true. And I think having the energy, like it goes back to what you said. Like if I don't feel good, I don't feel like I'm fulfilled. Right? Like for me, if I'm doing something and I'm making $1 out of it and it doesn't feel fulfilling for me, that dollar doesn't bring me much value as much as the fulfillment does. You know.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
No, that's beautiful. So I guess we're concluding this segment. But before we conclude, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to the next generation here, because I am attacking a specific audience. These are my young bulls.
Yeah.
I got all ages. I have women. I have kids. I got adults. All people that care about urban culture. They care about preserving, because and this is an interesting conversation, right? Because you work directly with real estate development. You are seeing in real time how San Jose is getting developed, right?
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of people in the community have mixed feelings, right? Because they think there's a thing called gentrification happening. But as long as there's equitable opportunities, people should acknowledge that the opportunities are there, right? But I think a lot of people are victim mentality out here. And they kind of like blame. They're quick to blame.
Yeah.
So I guess like what's some advice to the people that you see that have time to tweet and complain about what's going on, but they're not taking the full advantage of their 24 hours?
Yeah.
So I guess what's some advice you want to give to them from a person that's, you've seen San Jose in different phases.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear your opinion.
Well, one, I think you hit it. Your audience, the people that you've reached out to, are obviously gravitating to what you're saying because they're listening, and they're hoping that there's hope there, and they're learning. And not everyone is going to learn, and not everyone's going to take your advice, not everyone's going to agree with what your message is.
Yeah.
But to those that are listening and watching, and the term gentrification, I steer away from labels because they're created by somebody that, again, had the time to think of something, to complain about something, versus maybe trying to empower themselves.
Yeah.
Now, I want to make sure that also it's understood that do I believe that there is some bad developments that are happening out there? Absolutely. With a malice intent purpose? Absolutely. Do they take advantage of certain areas that that they see they can take advantage of? 100%. There's out there, but just as there are a few bad people, there's a lot of great people with great intentions and great hopes for great things to happen. What I would tell people is that instead of focusing on the negative and blaming, why don't they look at themselves and do a self-reflection and say, where am I at in my life? Mm-hmm. There's leaders and there's followers.
Yeah.
And a follower is listening to what not necessarily a leader, but or a person is saying that has influence amongst them all.
Yeah.
You have influence amongst an audience. Our goal here is to influence them positively and empower them and help them rise. Yeah. No color lines here, no gender lines here, no, just people in general. Gentrification is a word that was created by somebody I don't know. I haven't even wasted time to look into it. But what I would tell people is that yes, communities are changing, just like they have in the past and thousands of years. I mean, it's called the evolution. Yeah, we're evolving. San Jose used to be orchards. Yeah, now it's a city. Yeah. The trees aren't complaining about gentrification or we're building. They're gone. Yeah. We had to adapt. People had to adapt. There are people that are here that are not complaining about, hey, we just took a whole field of trees and now live on it. I mean, you don't hear that. What you hear is the excuse or the reasoning of why they're not in a better place. And people, again, with a small mindset or a limited mindset, I don't want to downplay a limited mindset, have limited thought. We're a few of the people that have grown up in tough neighborhoods or in tough areas that have come out of it because something clicked, someone either influenced us, and I didn't become an entrepreneur just because I woke up and said,
Yeah.
Someone influenced me. Someone introduced the word entrepreneur
Yeah.
to me that like caught my attention, and I asked the question, what is entrepreneurship?
Yeah.
And I got that answer, and when I got that answer, I was like, oh, I like that. I can be my own boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Cool. So I believe that San Jose is growing, rightfully so. Just like no other big cities, San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, they all started as just bare land, and now they've grown to become meccas.
Yeah.
San Jose is the same thing. As we continue to evolve, technology continues to evolve. Everything is evolving, from a big computer to now an iPhone.
Yeah.
I mean, an iPhone that does what a major big computer used to do.
Can literally do everything on it.
Yeah. So it's happening, and what we should do is, instead of falling victim or into that trap, I think we should educate ourselves. And education doesn't mean necessarily go to school, but read, research, do something that can help you go to the next level in life.
Yeah.
Don't fall in that rabbit hole.
Any key literature, context, or videos that you want to share that people can check out? Maybe something that kind of.
I go to YouTube, and I like to. There's a few different guys I like. I like to listen to Tony Robbins. I like to listen to Steve Harvey. There's David Goggins.
David Goggins.
David Goggins off the hook. Eric Thomas.
Oh yeah, I love Eric Thomas.
There's books, audio books that are out there. I mean, I wrote 2 books. You know? Smoke and Mirrors, Decide, Commit, Execute.
Yep.
I mean, those are books on my life, 2 on a mindset, how to make a decision, how to commit to your decision, and most importantly is executing on that, because without execution, nothing else matters.
Yeah. I think Gary Vee said it. He said, ideas without execution are nothing.
Just an idea.
It's just an idea. There you go.
Just an idea.
So yeah, I think we want to take a tour. I'm gonna get some footage and we'll share it.
Perfect.
I'm gonna conclude it for the audio. It ain't exclusive. If it ain't an EMLN exclusive, it's your boy BQ with my guest Mauricio Mejia. Thank you again for opening the office to us.
Anytime, my brother.
Pleasure,
Anytime.
man. And we out. Peace.